What is up, people? Today I am so excited because I am going to be talking about the Black Panther, and I got that coming up for you guys next. So the Black Panther is directed by Ryan Coogler, and it stars Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, or the Black Panther. Now, this was a character that I was really looking forward to just because of the fact that I really did love him in Civil War, and I was really glad and I was hoping that they wouldn't really do an origin story to the Black Panther, because we very much saw a rough kind of, quick version of his origin in Civil War, along with everything else that we saw in that movie. And so we didn't need it here, and I am so glad that we didn't get it. And what we get here is a large and expansive look at Wakanda. This is where T'Challa, or Black Panther, comes from, and I definitely appreciated that, just because of the fact that I feel like that is what I was missing. What was Wakanda about, and how did they come upon this natural resource, which is vibranium? And vibranium is what Cap's shield is made out of, and a lot of it, and a matter of fact, the only source of vibranium is in Wakanda, and it is very much protected by the Wakandans, because we are introduced to everything that you can do with vibranium, and it's a lot, people. It is a lot. I loved everything about Wakanda. I didn't know anything about Wakanda before this. I'd never read a Black Panther comic book. Never read one. So I was very fresh to this, and I love the contrast between, the very natural beauty that is Africa, that is very, largely where they're from, and the technological advances that they have made because they have this vibranium. And just the contrast between those two elements here, it's really, really breathtaking. And it's got breathtaking visuals throughout this movie that give it a unique feel that separates this movie from other Marvel films, where I feel like they kind of follow a very strict blueprint on how it's supposed to look and how it is supposed to be structured. This movie very largely sidesteps that, and very wisely, in my opinion. Now, what we learned in Civil War was T'Challa's father had been assassinated, and T'Challa was next in line to become the King of Wakanda. And that is a very large and very, it's a big burden on T'Challa, but it is something that he takes upon himself, and he takes a lot of pride in. T'Challa is different. Marvel likes to have very pluckish characters. You have Iron Man, you have Star-Lord, you have Hank Pym, it's just all over the place. But here, it's good to see a character that is a lot more grounded and is a lot more humble, and that is very much T'Challa. He understands the responsibilities of taking over for the Wakandans, and he feels that burden very, very deeply, and he takes it seriously. And this movie definitely hinges itself on that premise. What does it take to rule Wakanda the right way? What is the right way to rule? Should we stay hidden from society and keep this vibranium for ourselves, or should we expose ourselves and really share vibranium with the world and help the world protect itself? And that is a concept that is brought back again and again in this movie, and I feel like it is a very relevant one that I could come on both sides of, honestly. Would the rest of the world treat vibranium the way that the Wakandans do? Probably not. But could you protect the rest of the world using vibranium and the technology that it provides for your civilization? Most definitely. And should you do that? Probably. And that is a very thought-provoking concept to have in a Marvel movie, but it gets even more complicated with the introduction of Killmonger here. And there is a lot of backstory to Michael B. Jordan in this role, and I won't get into spoilers that have to do with it, but he is very much a very angry and bitter person that feels like he has the right to take over Wakanda. And he does not agree with T'Challa in the way that he wants to rule it. And that is something that is brought up again and again with this movie. How should you rule Wakanda in a way that not only services Wakandans, but the rest of the world? How do you want yourself to be portrayed by the rest of the world? And Michael B. Jordan in this movie is really great. Him and Ryan Coogler have worked with each other on a number of different projects, and even though I don't feel like I like him better here than I did in Creed, I really liked Michael B. Jordan in Creed. He is like a really great, grade A character in that movie in my mind, but here he is still a very he's a relatable villain that I feel like is kind of shallow once you peel apart some layers with him. But at the same point in time, Michael B. Jordan does a lot with him and adds a lot more character and a lot more understandability to this character, and I feel like even though he isn't the strongest Marvel villain, he is definitely up there. Peter Nyong'o stars as Nakia here, and Nakia is this badass, semi kind of girlfriend to T'Challa, and you know what? She can hold her own, man. She is not just a girlfriend that is going to be just a hanger-on to T'Challa. She is definitely going to go on missions with him and just be a badass all by herself. And she is very much going to influence T'Challa and the way that he wants to change Wakanda. And I feel like that is something very, very smart that this movie did. Danai Gurira is also excellent in this movie. She is like the leader of like the army of Wakandans, and man, she can kick some ass in this movie. She is unbelievable. I loved her in this movie, and she just had an intensity to her that was just prevalent. I feel like she is like a little bit younger Viola Davis. She is just I look at her and I'm frightened. So all of these characters are great characters and they have their complexities, but how is the action in this movie? It is incredible. I feel like Ryan Coogler really took a look at other Marvel movies and really gave this movie another sense of style when it came to its action. Because there just aren't a lot of cuts in this action, and the camera really does pan out and lets you see a lot of what's going on throughout this action, and I love every action scene in this movie. I feel like it is soup to nuts, top to bottom, just a really great action movie. And I love the fact that Wakandans, they have their own, like, missions. Like, they have, like, their own, like, James Bondian kind of missions that they go on. And they have, like, this Q character who is T'Challa's sister that comes up with all of these different kind of suits that T'Challa can wear to be the Black Panther, and just an overall bunch of weaponry that you have never seen before that all comes from vibranium, and you definitely get a sense of what vibranium allows them to do. And those missions that they go on are like undercover spy missions around the world. I feel like that is just something that is so cool that was injected in this movie, and even though that there is a lot more with that towards the beginning of the movie than at the end. I really appreciated that. Guys, there is so much about this movie that I haven't even had time to mention, like Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman, who are also excellent in this movie. And this movie is just cram-packed with good and just solid storytelling, backed up by great visuals and great action. And on top of all of that, there is a message here about what to do with responsibility and how to handle it that just resonated with me. And just, this movie wants to stick up for the little guy and stick up for the oppressed in a way that feels very natural to me. I came into this movie expecting it to be very ham-handed, and it wasn't. And for that, and for many reasons more, people, I have to give this a 9 out of 10. This might end up very high on my Marvel meter, folks. It's something that I'll definitely have to see again and reevaluate how high it actually is. So next, people, I did get my Criterion release of Silence of the Lambs. I promised you guys I'd review it, so I just got it in. I'm going to be checking it out tonight, and I'm going to be getting it to you guys. I also got to, stick to the Christopher Nolan collection, and I just have a whole lot to do. But I will do it for you guys, so subscribe so you know when those videos come out, and comment below if you are excited about the Silence of the Lambs, because I am. And as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome, and I will see all of you next time!